a Hoover Senior, I think 6252A, from probably the 1970s. I got offered this from a very kind chap on a car forum who had it and didn't want it. And of course I'm going to say something like this from the tip, because bar a couple of little minor issues and some dirt here and there, this has all of the at a glance through a phone screen for 5-second hallmarks of being a pretty decent project. It's all complete, it's all there, it's quite clean. The question is it any good or not? And are we going to see a suppressor explosion in this video? Who knows? Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and Hoover chums. How are you today? Yeah, I think the guy was just a scrapper and had it, knows that I'm interested in vacuums, and luckily he lived very close to my dad. So it was an incredibly simple process for this to just fall into the back of one car, then fall into the back of another car, and here we go. The Victor V9 is sat on standby in case anything crawls out of this. So what do we have? Well, it's a Hoover Senior. We have a lovely handle with immaculate paintwork. I don't think I've seen a handle this clean, and because it's this later 70s style Senior, it has metal cord hooks as well, so no more worrying about really faded brittle plastic. I would almost place bets on this cable potentially being original as well. Or if I can just crawl past the broken bag, we have a lovely MK plug. It's a sleeved plug, so it's not going to be the original to this machine, but it's there, and bar a little bit damp skid mark there, seems alright. So that's almost immediately what drew me to this machine. The fact that that is really nice. This, there we go, I'll just bend that straight again. There is the bag hook. The main problem so far is that this is broken. It's split in the middle, so it couldn't hold itself on if it tried. That is going to need to be replaced. Let me guess, this isn't going to move at all, is there? There's a lot of crud in there. We're going to take the hood off before we touch this machine too much. So, okay, we'll figure that out in a minute. But all seems fairly good up here. Let's get down to the business end. Going to be handy all round if we can just take this bag off. So we're going to, there we go, give it some shock treatment and take this off. Ew, I'm almost scared of what we're going to find in this machine. Come on, Victor, we're not going to keep this there. Keep doing that inch by inch, we'll soon have this machine refurbished. This then lets us look in here, and oh, well, this one needs a zip as well then. This is the second bag. I didn't actually look at this that closely. I was assuming that the bag was zipped up, which I guess it almost is. I guess I should leave it like that for now, because it will still be alright enough. What I'm most concerned about is this. Carry a flipping bag. I mean, what the heck? Right, we may as well pull you off of there, and I can just wash this whole bag separately, and we can try and get a zip on it, because I mean, it's got to have some work done anyway if I want to find and fit a new one of those, but otherwise it's immaculate. I mean, again, just a little bit of string around there, it's going to be good enough. So that's a bit of a shame. What the flip is going on with this? It's made even worse by the fact that I think that's the remains of a paper bag. Yeah, look, someone's hasn't just been accidentally fitted, has it? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we now have a handy carrier bag for whatever else we need to get out of this machine. But yeah, there it is. Look, look, it's even got the belt that uses the bag holder. So yeah, this is the belt. The bag's obviously just disintegrated. Somebody's picked it up to go and use it and just taped a carrier bag into it. So that bodes well, doesn't it? The bellows are, oh, well, that's snapped off. I think I've got a spare one of these. The bellows, they're good, so that's fine. Oh, well, some problems. Even that's broken off. Look. Very strange indeed. Oh dear, maybe I didn't do such a decent job on buying this. Well, you know, what can you do? Next thing I'm actually going to do is take the handle off so that we can flip this machine over without me covering it all in chaos and see what surprises lurk beneath. Right then, so on the surface, I mean, oh, I don't have a cloth actually, I probably should have done. We might have a go in a minute. This might polish up okay. It just seems to be dirt, but then on closer inspection, there is some damage to be seen. The hood isn't bad. They're not even scratches. They're just scuffed. You know, the whole thing is very faded. The badge is already pretty bent and already fallen off. So, you know, we can actually straighten that back out more easily and then glue it on. I guess the big question is, yeah, this isn't a good sign, look. Unless... yeah, no, so the height control is seized, the bracket works, but the spring is struggling to spring. I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh my gosh, it's so rusty and there's so many spider's webs. Oh wow, this has definitely been sat somewhere. Oh, and we're not going to flip and find out what it actually is because there is no ratings plate. Ugh. Right, well... I guess we're going to have the Victor V9 back out in a second. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Yeah, look at that. That is one big, massive cobweb. Excuse me. Right, well, I'm not quite so scared of it, although I'm not leaving this far away, and the Victor is turned for optimum switch accessibility. But, I mean, I think, not sure, but I think we might need a new belt. This has gone just like, oh wow, look, it's still trying though. This has gone like that entire Hoover Junior 119 did from Hayward Church. Loads of dustbin there. And the brush roll dustbin. I think it's just been sat somewhere. Wow, they're nice stiff bristles. I think it's been sat somewhere awful for decades. I mean, yeah, stuff has been living everywhere. The wheels do turn, and it has its little metal bracket, just like the Hoover Senior 4058, the orange one, which I'm going to have to borrow this to film the last little outro of its video because I think I deleted the footage. It uses exactly the same setup, but being metal, it hasn't broken. So, oh yeah, look, it is moving, yeah? Oh, that's going to be fine. It's just... oh, look, there, look. That's just not moved for years. In fact, we may as well make it go up and down now. So there we go. I mean, all's okay so far. I don't think this is going to move. Let's see. Well, it does, but yeah, there's nothing springy about that at all. But again, it's all there, and it's not, this has probably copped the worst of the rust. This and the brush roll. And that's going to clean up Okay, I think what we want to do now is take a screwdriver, it seems to be a crosshead on this machine, and undo this screw here. Gosh, we're going to hoover out. The Victor is coming, probably going to turn it on before we take the hood off on this one. The more I look at this, the more I think we might even de-suppressor it first as well, because I don't think that's going to last much at all, even with wanting to see some sparks. Yeah. Here we go then, what's underneath the hood? Ooh, lovely, lots of dead, massive spiders, but untouched. I think we're probably the first people to ever have this hood off. Excuse me. Even more less scared now, we can get a bit close. Someone has been in here before. I'm being very stupid because there's no bulb in it. So yeah, someone's been in here before, but they haven't changed anything else. There is the original suppressor, and we are definitely going to remove this right now because, you know, fun and explosions aside, this is the type. Oh, where's my screwdriver? This is the type of suppressor that does smoke and leave a foul stench. I don't want the birds to be caught up in that, so I'm going to go and get this removed. Now, on this era of machine, it's actually quite simple because it's all just screwed in to the existing loop. You just have to remove all the wires, basically, and then put all of the screws back. You don't need to cut and chop and do whatever. So there is, there is one of its wires removed, and I'm actually... it's fiddly to show you really, but I'm going to put this screw back into this little hole here, whence it came. Then the next screw actually ties onto the top screw for the bearing, so we're not going to sneak underneath the motor, we're going to pretty much just turn this thing on as it is for a laugh. So we'll pop that onto there, and then this final one runs down to the bottom, so we're actually going to cut the wire here, like so, because then I can more easily work out which one it is from down here by just poking at these wires until one goes loose. Because yeah, I want to try. There it is. Look. I mean, I guess I could just cut this off flush with this screw, but that is not the correct way. There will then be a little bit of live wire poking out, which will do the job properly, like so. In theory, this machine is now just going to run if the next door neighbour is trying to use their nice old radio. They're about to have a horrible night indeed. Then we can take out this little screw here. Oh look, which just removes the entire bracket completely. We'll leave the screw and its bracket in place. I mean, I guess some people will say, oh, you can leave the suppressor in place. But no, these ones don't explode as violently as the other ones do. There's some writing. But yeah, they do smoke and go all horrible. Oh my goodness, why are we not going to focus today, camera? Either way, you get the idea. So now, we should be a step closer to being able to turn this thing on. What we can then do is actually take what is now my spare bulb. Thank you very much, person who gave me this, again, along with the 4058. We'll take that back out, but hey, we can test it out and see it with its headlight. Now, I'm not going to stand downwind of it because it's going to blow out a lot of rubbish, but in theory, it should hopefully turn on. I wonder when the last time that would have run was. That runs very well indeed. I'm not going to touch its metal part yet, and I'm just going to take the bowl back out because, well, I think what we should probably do is try and do some vacuuming with it. And we know that the brush roll is probably going to spin. This now spins. We should perhaps fit a belt. Guess the next problem is going to be, is this actually going to even come out? Yeah, no, it is. We're good. Gentle little prying, and off that comes. The two springs are in place. Oh, so much corrosion and yuck everywhere. But hopefully enough for us to take... no, not that one. It's going to be this one. We're going to use a horrible modern belt as well. Because, well, why not? We're going to use a super belt. How super. Ugh, this is going to be fun to get on, isn't it? So, back in there you go. Straight in there. Then, following on, little guide. There we are. Belt and fan. Spin as one again. We'll put the base plate back onto the machine. Back onto the machine. In there. Off. This on. Oh. There we go. A little bit of violence. And there we have that end of thing. What I've then done is fitted and bag into our bellows and sort of got everything in. And then with a little screw put into there, I think this should hold itself in place long enough for us to do some test vacuuming. There we go. That will sit in there because, well, I'm not going to go hunting around for its replacement now. I'm going to pop the handle back on, get the bag tied up a bit more nicely onto here, and then I think we'll leave the hood off and give it a test and do some vacuuming. Right, let's see how well this might vacuum. Oh. Well, considering that we haven't touched the bearing with any grease or lubricant, that isn't bad at all. I think we're going to pop the hood back on and carry on vacuuming. Although what I can't resist doing first is just getting a little bit of cream cleaner. Seeing if he's going to come up at all. Please. Oh, yes. He's probably going to need a good buff. But isn't that a good sign that all of that dirt is just coming straight off? And hopefully, because again, I would like to perhaps do this machine up and sell it. It's going to need a good wash first. And it's certainly showing a little bit of damage. But that isn't bad. All this crud under the hood as well. There's that cream cleanery bit of cloth. There we go. We'll give this a nice little wipe down. Oh, he's damaged. Okay, that's a bit of a shame. There's a crack on the headlight lens, although it's not split, so with a little bit of glue, that's going to be okay enough, I think. Oh, we'll be a little bit careful with that for now. We'll fit that onto wherever it goes. Then, I'll say I'm going to fit the hood. Oh, let's just see. Because this looks very, very faded indeed. Do a little square of it. See if it might come up or if it's going to need, you know, a good wet sand and polish as well. A little bit faded, but this scuff mark's coming out. And again, it might need a bit more than just a couple of seconds of cream cleaner and nothing more. I don't know. I've got potential. I don't think it's going to be a complete mincer, but I think it might be good enough to be a laugh for somebody. It's certainly coming up a bit cleaner, but I think it's just really, really faded, or it needs the buffer to give it a good once over. It probably needs a wet sand, but I'm not that good at wet sanding plastic. I know a couple of collectors are, and that is probably the way to do it. But unfortunately, that isn't me. So I'm going to remember how the heck to put this back in. I think the lens needs to click into here first. Yes, lens needs to click into there first. Then that will go onto there. I think it's binding up on the screws that are half in place. And then we can perhaps have it working, looking a bit more like a Hoover Senior. I've just spotted it. I was going to do the screw up. There's the flipping ratings plate. It is a 6525C. Oh, blimey. That's a little bit disgusting though. Hang on. Although I'm going to be very careful because you can wipe the writing on these away. Yeah, the writing's already gone. I can probably decipher it with a close-up camera shot. So I'll do that and hopefully get that up on the screen. One, display it while we clean the rug. With a mild manual tweak of the rear height adjuster, and I'll turn my big light off so we can perhaps see its light a bit more. Hopefully, give it some power. Fantastic! Not quite enough, hang on. That might do it. Well, that works really, really well. Who knows how long that's been since that's been turned on, because you don't get that cobweb build-up even if this machine had been turned on to test. That would have all been disturbed. We could be talking decades and decades sat in one place not moving. And she's fired up fine. We've not even given it an oiling yet. I've not even cleaned it up. And I think it's going to be all right. So a bit of a project, this one. One day we'll get round to it and I can get the bag fixed up and get everything else cleaned up. Hopefully, this 6525C is just going to be a nice functioning member of society once more. So, what do you think? Have you had a Hoover Senior that is in worse condition for free or less? Of course you have. Let me know your tales down below. And yeah, I will hopefully find somebody to fix up this bag and get this running well once more. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And I and some other homeless Hoover will see you soon. Bye bye.